The Senior Bowl is in the books. The Super Bowl is on the horizon. And coming up on this edition of NFL Daily by Chat Sports, so we're counting you down to the NFL Draft as Matt Miller of ESPN has put together his first two-round mock draft. We'll go through every single pick and break them down in their entirety coming up on today's show. Let's get started with the first five picks. And this should be not a huge surprise to most people. Caleb Williams, 1 to the Bears. Drake Maye, 2 to the Commanders. 3, Jayden Daniels out of LSU to the Patriots. Marvin Harrison Jr. at 4 to the Arizona Cardinals. Malik Nabers at 5 to the Los Angeles Chargers. You can see the top 3 picks, all quarterbacks with those 3 selections, and then back-to-back wide receivers with Harrison Jr. and Nabers. And Nabers getting picked ahead of Odunze with that number 5 selection there on that front. So you look at those 3 teams, and you have some quarterback-needy teams. That's obvious. And so you see from Matt Miller there projecting 3 quarterbacks in the top 5. What do you guys think? How many quarterbacks are going to get taken to the top 5 of the 2024 NFL Draft? I think 3. That feels about the right number, potentially. I'd be surprised if it's any less than 2, personally speaking. What do you guys think? Our pinned comment today, weigh in. Tell us how many quarterbacks you think go in the top 5. The next 5 selections, Odunze falls to 6 to the New York Football Giants, who certainly could use some help at the receiver position. The Titans, they get much-needed help on the offensive line with Joe Alt, the offensive tackle from Notre Dame. Terrion Arnold, the defensive back from Alabama, goes to the Falcons at 8. Well, Olu, the offensive tackle from Penn State, goes to the Bears at 9. So Caleb Williams gets some protection at the quarterback position. And then Fuaga, the offensive lineman from Oregon State, the offensive tackle, goes 10 to the Jets, rounding out the first 10 picks of the draft there. Let's go ahead and shift gears now, show you picks 11 through 15. And what those are here, we'll break those down here in just a second. Here it is. We begin with the Minnesota Vikings going Dallas Turner with the number 11 overall pick, one of the most exciting defensive players in this draft, heck of a pass rusher. And then here's probably the biggest shock of the mock draft so far. Bo Nix, quarterback out of Oregon, going 12 to the Denver Broncos, replacing Russell Wilson. This is the highest I've ever seen Bo Nix on a mock draft, and quite frankly, you're not going to find me taking Bo Nix with that number 12 pick, personally speaking, but we shall see. 13, J.J. McCarthy goes to the Las Vegas Raiders, while Brock Bowser's, the star tight end from Georgia, falls all the way to 14 to the New Orleans Saints. That'd be a shock to see him slip that much. Most people projecting him to go top 10. Jared Verse, the star defensive lineman from Florida State, projected to go 15 to the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts had a surprisingly good season, just barely missed the playoffs. They do get Anthony Richardson back next year, and so that would be some nice help for that defense if they can add Jared Verse to the equation there. Now, we've talked several offensive players so far. We have plenty more to get to here in just a second, but who is the best offensive player in the 2024 NFL Draft? Give me a couple names that come to mind. Who is the very best one? Weigh in the comment section. Let us know who you think that is. Today's show is sponsored by LinkedIn Jobs. When you're hiring for your small business, you'll want to find quality professionals that are right for the role. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs has the tools to help find the right professionals for your team faster and for free. Look, we've all been there before where we were trying to find the right job, and luckily LinkedIn makes it so easy that you won't want to miss out on the opportunity to check this out and see for yourself what it's like posting jobs or looking for jobs, either one. LinkedIn isn't just another job board. LinkedIn has a vast network of more than 1 billion professionals, which makes it the best place to hire. Hiring is easy when you have that many quality candidates. So easy, in fact, that 86% of small businesses get a qualified candidate within 24 hours. LinkedIn also knows that small businesses are wearing so many hats and might not have the time or resources to hire. Thankfully, with LinkedIn, the process is intuitive, quick, and easy. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/NFL Daily. That's LinkedIn.com/NFL Daily to post your job for free. Terms and conditions do apply. Check it out today, LinkedIn.com/NFL Daily. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. All right, back to the ESPN mock draft 16. The Seahawks with their new head coach, Mike McDowell, go defense with Byron Murphy, the big fella out of Texas. While we see the Jags go defensive back with Enos Rakestraw Jr. out of Missouri. His projection's been kind of all over the place, anything from first round to fourth round. We'll see where he goes. Then maybe the steal of the draft. The Bengals not expected to be able to pay T. Higgins the money he's going to command, so they go get Brian Thomas Jr. all the way at 18. I'd be surprised if he's still available then. At 19, the Rams go Boomer Sooner with Tyler Guyton, the offensive lineman from Oklahoma. Huge dude that is certainly gaining a lot of traction moving up boards quickly. The Steelers, they go O-line, some help for Kenny Pickett as they find Amarius Mims, the offensive lineman from Georgia, at 20. Meanwhile, at 21, the Dolphins, they go with Jerzon Newton, the defensive tackle from Illinois, with some much-needed help for that Dolphins defense. Quinion Mitchell, the corner from Toledo, another guy that's skyrocketing up boards. He moves all the way up to 22 to the Philadelphia Eagles. The best name of the draft, potentially, Kool-Aid McKinstry, the defensive back for BAMA, goes to the Houston Texans, joining his former teammate Will Anderson at number 23. Keon Coleman, the wide receiver for Florida State, goes to the Dallas Cowboys, another weapon for Dak Prescott at 24, while we see Cooper DeJean, the defensive back that played corner at Iowa. There is some rumblings. He could switch over to the safety position potentially, but the Packers have him at 25 in this case. Let's round out the first round as we got a few more picks here to get to. Troy Faltunu, the offensive lineman from Washington, the offensive guard, goes to the Bucs at 26, some protection for Baker Mayfield. J.C. Latham, the offensive lineman for Bama, goes to the Cardinals at 27, some much-needed help at the tackle spot. While Jackson Powers Johnson, the offensive lineman from Oregon at the center position, goes to the Bills at 28. And then this one's a bit of a surprise to me. Latu, the star edge rusher for UCLA, falls all the way to 29 to Detroit. Detroit would be very thrilled if he's still available at that point. Rounding out the first round, another Mizzou Tiger. This time the Baltimore Ravens go with Darius Robinson, the defensive lineman from Mizzou at 30, while Jordan Morgan, the offensive lineman from Arizona, goes to the Niners at 31. And rounding out round number one is Xavier Worthy, the wide receiver from the University of Texas. He and Adonai Mitchell, both from Texas. Going to be interesting to see which one goes first in this one. It's Worthy that gets off the board, and the Chiefs get some much-needed receiver help for Patrick Mahomes and company there. Now, we'll get to the second round in just a moment, but first, who is the best defensive player in the 2024 NFL Draft? We asked you offense earlier. Let's ask you defense now. Weigh in the comment section. Tell us what you think the best defensive player is in this year's draft. We're going to continue to cover the draft each and every day here on NFL Daily as we're bringing you mock drafts. We're going over big boards. We're reacting to all the latest events, including the Senior Bowl and the East-West Shrine game last week. We'll look ahead to the Combine here pretty soon. Lock us in. Subscribe now for free for the latest happenings around the NFL Draft. For more draft coverage, keep it tuned here, right here to NFL Daily. Subscribe now. All right, let's begin the second round now. This one, a bit of a shocker. Carolina goes Ladd McConkey from the University of Georgia, who had an incredible Senior Bowl. His stats not over the top by any stretch of the imagination, but did certainly make some noise in Senior Bowl practices. 34, the Patriots, they get some more help on the offensive line. A big fella, Patrick Paul, first-team All-Big 12 selection, certainly looks the part. Nate Wiggins, corner from Clemson, falls 35 to the Arizona Cardinals. Most people have him projected to be a first-round pick, so that'd be disappointing for him if he's picked at 35. Chris Broswell, the defensive end from Bama, goes to the Commanders at 36, while Edgerrin Cooper, the linebacker from Texas A&M, goes to the Chargers at 37. At 38, the Titans add a receiver for some help for Will Levis here, and this is another one that surprises me. I don't think he's going to be around at 38, but if he is, the Titans will be happy with Adonai Mitchell from the University of Texas, such a great deep threat. While Graham Barton, the offensive lineman from Duke, He ends up, the offensive guard, going to the New York Football Giants at 39. 40, Chop Robinson, who many people project as one of the best defensive players in this draft, falling all the way to 40 to the Washington Commanders out of Penn State. Well, Kamari Laster, defensive back from Georgia, he ends up at the 41 spot to the Green Bay Packers, expected to be a corner at the next level. And then we find Michael Penix Jr., trading out one shade of purple for another, goes to the Minnesota Vikings at 42 overall. We've seen his stock anywhere from top 10 all the way to third round, kind of all over the place. We'll see where Michael Penix goes. In this case, not a first-round pick. What do you guys think? Will Penix go in the first round, or will it be like this mock draft where he ends up in the second round or later? Weigh in the comment section. Tell us what you think. Y for yes, in for no, if Penix will be a first-round pick or not. Now, not only do we have NFL draft coverage on our main Chat Sports channel, but also on our NFL draft channel as well, as we're bringing you more draft content than ever before, from the latest that's happening in the lead up to the draft, team-specific mock drafts, reaction to big boards, all sorts of stuff you can think of. We are your NFL draft headquarters for the latest happenings around the NFL draft. Keep us locked in as we catch you down to the draft. Subscribe now for free. You'll be glad you did. All right, let's continue with the second round now. We find Devontae Walker, wide receiver from North Carolina, goes 43 to Atlanta. Troy Franklin, wide receiver from Oregon, 44 to the Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders add some receiver help, much needed there. Xavier Legette, the wide receiver from South Carolina, goes 45 to New Orleans, while Malachi Corey, the wide receiver from Western Kentucky, goes to the Indianapolis Colts at 46. So starting kind of a run of receivers there. Well, Chris Jenkins, defensive lineman from Michigan, goes to the New York Giants at 47. Then at 48, we see Roman Wilson. Wilson didn't put up the most flashy numbers by any means at Michigan, but he made plays when he needed to. He goes to the Jags at 48. Jatavion Sanders, tight end from Texas, goes to the Bengals at 49, another weapon for Joe Burrow. Tyler Nubin, the defensive back from Minnesota, goes to the Philadelphia Eagles at 50. Zach Frazier, offensive lineman from West Virginia, goes to the Steelers at 51. Braylon Trice, this is a bit of a surprise for me to see him slip all the way to 52. We've seen some first-round grades on him. He goes to the Rams there with that pick. Meanwhile, at 53, we find Junior Collison, the linebacker from Michigan, going to the Philadelphia Eagles. And then there is T'Vondre Sweat, who is projected to be a late first, early second round guy. He slides to the later portion of the second round at 54 to Cleveland. His fellow Big 12 brethren, Cooper Beebe, who's certainly getting a lot of love, the first-team All-Big 12 selection out of Kansas State, goes to the Dolphins at 55. Kingsley Suamataia, I tried that one, folks. Not my best, I'll admit. The offensive line from BYU, we'll work on that later, goes to the Dallas Cowboys at 56. Cameron Kitchens, the safety from Miami, stays in the state of Florida, going to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 57. We'll round out this mock draft in just a moment, but first, we want to know, who is your favorite player in the 2024 NFL Draft? No wrong answers here. Just let us know, who is your personal favorite? Chat in, comment section, let us know which player has your attention you'll be rooting for this upcoming season. Let us know in the comment section below. All right, let's round out the second round now. Jonathan Brooks, the running back from Texas, coming off a torn ACL, still is the first running back off the board, going to the Packers at 58, and Packers already have some good running backs there as is. The Texans go Leonard Taylor, defensive lineman from Miami at 59. Well, Jalen Polk, wide receiver from Washington, some people have a first-round grade on him. He goes at the end of the second round to the Buffalo Bills, and which is interesting considering that the future remains uncertain with Stephon Diggs there in Buffalo. TJ Tampa, that sounds like a defensive back. He's going to the Detroit Lions out of Iowa State at 61. And then rounding out the second round, three more picks. Javon Bullard, defensive back from Georgia, goes 62 to the Ravens. While Adid's Isaac, defensive end from Penn State, goes 63 to the Niners. And then rounding out the draft is Michael Hall Jr., the defensive tackle from the Ohio State, goes to the Kansas City Chiefs at 64 overall. Appreciate you joining us here on this edition of NFL Daily by Chat Sports. For the latest happenings around the NFL draft, subscribe now for free, and we'll see you next time.